Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from Chinatown, Las Vegas, where I'm checking out Mr. Tofu. Super happy to have you along. Let's head inside. Alright everyone, and here we are seated at Mr. Tofu. Now this is a Korean restaurant that was suggested to me by a comment in a previous video, and I've never been here before, so I'm really excited to check things out. Now Mr. Tofu is located under 2 miles west of the Las Vegas Strip. You can get here in about roughly 10 minutes with an Uber. Let's take a look at what they have on the menu. Alrighty, and here is your menu at Mr. Tofu. Apparently it's one of BTS's favorite foods. Take a look here at your appetizers. A lot of classic Korean dishes here. Looks really good. And then let me see if I can get out of the glare here. This is the torso bibimbap. This is mixed rice in a stone pot, a very classic dish in Korean cuisine. Here is your sundubujjigae. This is your tofu stew. Again, a very classic dish in Korean cuisine. One of my favorites for sure. And then here is a combo that you can get with that tofu as well as some Korean barbecue here. Oh yeah, this is looking really great. Moving on to the next page, we've got some chef specialties. Galbijjim, special or spicy galbijjim here. Cheese galbijjim, that sounds interesting. Yeah, all really good looking dishes here. Many that I grew up with. Here are your house specials. Oh, okay, we've got some extras like tonkatsu here. A lot of grilled fish, as well as your Korean barbecue down here. We've got some mandukuk down there. That's dumpling soups. Yeah, very nice. Let's continue looking at the next page. We've got some cold noodle dishes. In the heat of summer, these are really refreshing to eat. Got some naengmyeon dishes here. And some cold noodle combos. And that's cold noodles coming with the Korean barbecue there. We also have some special combos. Looks like maybe like a big family meal. This is for 5 to 6 people at $190. All looking really good. And then I imagine there's a combo B on the other side. This is $150 for 3 to 4 people. Yeah, this is looking very good as well. Here's that combo in picture form down here. You've got your beverage and alcohols over here. Your beer and sodas down here. I'm pretty sure their sodas come by the can, so no free refills. And there's your menu here at Mr. Tofu. Wow, that was a lot of nostalgia going through that menu. So many dishes that I grew up eating, and I'm really looking forward to trying as many as I can today, because you know how it goes in my videos? Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So we're getting a nice variety. Together we'll see what this place is all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you in a little bit when they arrive. Now, Korean cuisine serves what's called banchan. These are side dishes that come at the beginning of your meal, providing a lot of variety. Here at Mr. Tofu, they offer 15 different dishes. Now, I would love to taste test all of these banchan for you today. I think it would wholly take too long, and these are all included with your meal, so I would want to focus a little bit more on the dishes you actually order here. But to give you my favorites, I love my kimchi, my fish cakes, and my spicy tofu. And now the rest of our appetizers are starting to arrive, and these are looking really great. Let me give you a view. This is the haeulpajeon, or seafood pancake, their tteokbokki, steamed dumplings, as well as their japchae. This is all looking really good. Let's give it a try. First up, the tteokbokki. Now this is a really tasty Korean snack. You've got little rice cakes that are cooked inside of a spicy sauce, stewed alongside onions, as well as fish cakes, and certainly one of my favorite Korean foods. Let's give this a shot. Oh, that's so good. A dense, springy texture to that rice cake. It gives you a satisfying chew, making this very enjoyable to eat. Such a delicious, spicy, and savory sauce here. It's a little bit garlicky. You certainly get a little bit of the natural sweetness from the onions that's been cooked down into it. And I certainly wouldn't call this mild by any means. There's a definitive heat level here that's gonna singe your tongue. If you're a fan of spicy foods, I think you're really gonna like this one. I certainly do. Next up, these are the steamed dumplings. Nice hefty dumplings here. Let's give these a shot. Yeah, those are just fine. A bit of a glutinous wrapper here. It's been steamed properly, it's nice and soft. However, it does have a bit of a stickier quality to it. I'd say the filling is okay. It does have a nice flavor. The pork in here is seasoned well. You definitely get some garlic in there, and just a little bit of bite coming from the green onion as well. They have some chopped up rice noodles in here that's meant to act as a bit of a filler. And while I recall having this in the recipe growing up, I don't think I really liked it much as a kid, and I think I'm kind of still there as an adult. I remember thinking as a child, I just want more pork, and I guess in some ways I've just never grown up. But it does taste exactly the way I remember dumplings like this growing up. These are just fine. Okie doke, next up, this is the japchae. Now japchae is a glass noodle dish from Korea, and probably one of the more popular Korean dishes around. Let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A nice cook to those glass noodles, very soft on the chew, almost silky in texture. There's a nice garlicky flavor when it comes to japchae, as well as some nuttiness coming from the sesame oil that's applied. A very well seasoned japchae. I actually really like the amount of black pepper they've applied here, and in general, I don't have any serious complaints. This japchae is just fine. Alrighty, and the last appetizer I'm trying today is the haemulpajeon. Now this is a Korean seafood pancake, and this was definitely a treat growing up. I didn't get to have this too often as a kid, so I'm looking forward to trying some more today. Let's give it a go. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I actually really like the batter to filling ratio here. There's actually a lot going on under the surface that you wouldn't immediately see. I had both shrimp and squid in the bite that I had, and while I didn't taste as much of the shrimp, I definitely did get the nice flavors of the squid. It did have a bit of a chewier texture, but playing with the crispy exterior of that pancake, it wasn't too much of a detractor. I love the amount of bite that you get from the green onions here, but I do think the bite that I had may have been on the fry pan for about 10 seconds too long. It was borderline almost overdone. In general, the haemulpajeon is a bit greasy, but it does taste very good. A lot of nice robust flavors here. Not a bad seafood pancake at all. I'm just fine with that one. Alright everyone, now that's all of the appetizers I'm trying today. My buddy and I are going to continue working on this, and then we'll go in on our first round of entrees. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back everyone. Our first round of entrees are here, and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. We got some beef bibimbap as well as their beef sundubu combo with kalbi. Seriously, some of my favorite dishes growing up, and I'm really excited to give these a try. First up, we're doing the kalbi. Now you can get their tofu stew on its own or as a combo that comes with some Korean barbecue options. I went with the kalbi along with my beef sundubu. Let's see how this is. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A nice beefy rib here, although I will say the texture is a tad chewy. Not exactly the most tender beef I've ever had, but certainly not the worst. Very well marinated. You certainly get the umami from the soy sauce, as well as a little bit of sugar and some garlic here as well. And in general, this kalbi has been very well seasoned. A little bit of sesame seed on there to provide some nuttiness. And in general, this is just fine, a solid kalbi rib here. Next up, this is a sundubu jjigae. Now sundubu is my favorite Korean dish, hands down. I grew up absolutely loving this stuff, and it's still my favorite well into adulthood. This is a tofu stew made with a spicy broth, often served alongside some kind of protein. I went with beef today. Now there is an egg that's dropped inside, and as the soup is boiling hot upon arrival, it does cook it over time. And I've got a nice spoonful here, putting it over some rice. And I am really looking forward to this one. Hopefully the one here in Mr. Tofu is good. Yeah, you know what, not bad. Now you can get multiple spice levels here, between plain, mild, medium, and spicy. Now I asked for my sundubu spicy today, and so this is the recipe at its maximum heat. Unfortunately, I can't say that this is bringing as much spice as I would personally prefer in my sundubu. It's much more mild than the spicy sundubus I'm typically used to. I'm not sure if it's because of that reduced heat, but I also want to say that the savory nature of the broth is a little bit low, a tad under seasoned, and while the broth does have its trademark savory spiciness, it's just so much more muted than I was expecting for its maximum spicy flavors. The tofu here is actually quite nice. Relatively firm, but still a silky texture, and very satisfying to eat. No real issues when it comes to the tofu. I will say the pieces of beef in this soup are a bit tough, which is a bit surprising. I thought they were going to be much more tender sitting in a boiling soup. I do like the rice here at Mr. Tofu. Not too sticky, not too dry. A good cook there, working very well with the sundubu. While it's not terrible, it's certainly not the best sundubu I've ever had. Fairly middle of the road here. And next up, we're going in on their bulgogi bibimbap. Bibimbap is a traditional Korean dish served in a stone pot that's incredibly hot, And it is seasoned with oil, and so it's cooking a lot of these rice and vegetables as it sits. If you let it sit long enough, it creates a bit of a crispy layer on the bottom of the rice, provides a little bit of a nutty flavor as well as an additional crisp, and it's a little bit of a delicacy in Korean cuisine called durumji. And this bibimbap is served alongside some gochujang, which is a spicy, garlicky Korean sauce. You want to apply this sauce generously to your bibimbap and then give it a nice mix. Bibimbap literally translates to mixed rice. And this is certainly one of my favorite dishes growing up as a child. And I've got a nice amount on my spoon here. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's very good. Now your mileage may vary depending on how much of the gochujang sauce you put on, but I was very generous, leading to a lot of spice and great flavors here. A nice amount of heat up front, along with a bit of a garlicky flavor, leads the way to the rest of the bite. A nice cook on the rice. I had both some of the softer portions as well as a bit of that crispier durumji at the bottom. Excellent texture there, working so well with this bibimbap dish. Very fresh vegetables here. You can definitively make out the sweetness of the carrots here, as well as the bitter irony flavor of the spinach. I had a nice big mushroom providing some earthiness in that bite, and you can definitely get the flavors of the bean sprout here as well. And right toward the middle of my chew is when I got into that bulgogi, and I gotta say it's actually very good. Much more tender here. This is probably the most tender beef I've had so far in the night, and it's been well marinated, a nice sweet flavor there, along with a little bit of umami. It's working so well in this bibimbap. I'm actually quite a fan. I really like this bibimbap. Alright everyone, now that's going to do it for this first round of entrees. My buddy and I are going to continue working on this, and then we'll go for round number 2. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, my friends. My last round of food is here, and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. Now this is the chef's specialty cheese galbijim, as well as their tonkatsu and a bowl of their mulnaengmyeon. This is all looking so good. Let's give it a try. First up, the tonkatsu. I wouldn't exactly call this a Korean dish. It has more of its origins in Japan. However, it is a staple dining option in Korea. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's really good. A wonderfully crispy exterior here. I love the fry job on this. Flaky and crunchy, such a wonderful texture. Incredibly succulent and juicy pork in the center. A lot of richness there with a really nicely seasoned meaty flavor. I really like the pork in this tonkatsu. Speaking of tonkatsu, the sauce is really great as well. A nice sweet tangy flavor there, really allowing you to appreciate the flavors of the pork. All coming together very well. I'm a big fan of the tonkatsu today. Now the tonkatsu is served with a side salad, so let's give this a shot as well. Oh yeah, that's fine. Fresh, crispy cabbage here, along with a sweet and tangy dressing very similar to Thousand Island. However, without the relish, not a lot of texture there, just very creamy and smooth. Almost a cross of just ketchup and mayonnaise perhaps, with a little bit of additional sugar. This is actually a pretty standard salad when it comes to Korean cuisine, not bad at all. Okie doke, next up, this is the chef's specialty cheese spicy galbijim. Absolutely massive beef short ribs here. Tons of meat served in a spicy stew with potatoes and onions. Now I've got one of these giant ribs on my plate here, and I've extracted a good amount of meat here. Let's see how this is. Oh my gosh, that is so good. You would not believe how tender this short rib meat is here. It is just falling apart, so soft. And it's actually been able to retain a bit of its beefy flavor. Such incredible meat here. This gravy that this beef is sitting in is just marvelous. It's incredibly thick, savory, and very spicy. A wonderful heat to this dish. Incredibly well seasoned, so much flavor. A nice amount of bell peppers and onions have been cooked down into this gravy, providing a little bit of bite as well as their caramelized sweetness. It's a bit garlicky as well, just such a delicious flavor here. The mozzarella cheese provides a beautiful creamy richness as well, also providing a little bit of respite from the spice. It's great on its own or on top of rice, and this cheese spicy galbijim tastes fantastic. I'm really in love with this one. Alright everyone, now the last bite I'm trying for my meal tonight is gonna be the mulnaengmyeon. This is a cold noodle dish that's served in Korea oftentimes in the summer when it's really hot because it's really refreshing. I'm actually starting to get really full, so I'm glad the meal is coming to a close. Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's just fine. Now, I haven't had moon naengmyeon in so long, and so I'm really enjoying this one. Cool and refreshing, especially on a hot spring day here in Las Vegas. It is very satisfying to eat. You get the cooling flavors of the cucumber, as well as a little bit of tang from the vinegar in the broth here. And while some might consider this particular soup a little bit more on the bland side, that is actually by design. It's meant to be more of a restorative and refreshing dish. The beef on top is actually quite nice. Though not exactly super tender, it does have a nice beefy quality to it, providing a little bit of an additional variation to the flavors of the naengmyeon. But all in all, I'm just really enjoying how refreshing and cooling these flavors are. Not bad at all, I'm enjoying this moon naengmyeon quite a bit. Alright everyone, now that does it for my dinner here at Mr. Tofu. Unfortunately, they don't really have any dessert options here, and so that concludes our meal. And speaking of the meal, it came out to $288 today before tip. I gotta say, I really enjoyed my time. Eating a lot of nostalgic dishes that I grew up with was a real treat for me tonight. And I did try some dishes that I didn't have growing up, like the spicy cheesy galbijjim, and it was so good. Now, while I wouldn't say this is the best Korean food I've ever had, it certainly hits the right bars for me, and so I'm looking forward to coming back here again with some friends to try out a couple more items. If you're in Las Vegas and you're looking for some good Korean food, I think you could do pretty well here at Mr. Tofu. Alright everyone, now that does it for another Tuesday video where I check out a local eatery here in Las Vegas. Coming this Saturday, I'm going to be returning to the Las Vegas Strip where I check out a more touristy location. Make sure you come back for that one. Thank you so much for watching, have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed Vegas with me, Shin. Bye.